Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu-alaikum. Ji ayanu, bakhair agale, ni hao, chunashumme, washmale. Ohio gozaima's, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasar, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, balli kare aaya. Hosh galden and I say, Huya Mora, Chivatochi, Haljud, Kali Mera, Khairutan, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Miss Sadaf Ali Khan. I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Sadaf, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I'm feeling really well today, and the weather is actually making us all very excited because, you know, like whenever it's raining, whenever it's snowing, it actually gives you such a pleasant feeling and it actually gives you that snuggly, cozy.
But okay, having said so, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is exactly the message with which I would want to kind of kickstart my Tuesday morning, and that is that in life, you know, success certainly needs to be according to the mindset. Now, imagine for all of those people might think that, you know, okay, we need to acquire this, we need to be here in life and whatnot. I think it's your mindset which will certainly pave the way for you to be successful. So please make sure that every single day when you wake up, you know, you need to dress up, show up at work, and leave the rest to Allah Almighty as well. Because, you know, I would want to say it in Urdu as well, कि आपका काम है सारे असबाब को जमा करना, उसके बाद अल्लाह से दुआ करें, and inshallah things will work out for you. But while we are speaking about cold and dry weather, let me take you through the news as well, because this is exactly how, you know, a few coming days will look like. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while very cold and hilly areas during next 24 hours. So please make sure that you stay warm, stay indoors.
Exactly.
However, partly cloudy weather with light rain, light snowfall may occur at isolated places in Gilgit-Baltistan, Kashmir, and adjoining hilly areas. According to Met Office, moderate to dense fog in patches is likely to persist at few plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh. The Met Office informed that continental air is prevailing over most parts of the country. A shallow westerly thorough is affecting Kashmir and adjoining areas and moving eastwards. All right, and to kind of speak about it, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Chief Meteorologist, PMD. He is Dr. Sardar Sarfraz. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today? Cold, right?
Walaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Sardar, thank you so much for taking our time. You know, we time to time we make sure that you're a part of our show, you know, so that we can update to our fellow citizens in Pakistan, kind of so that they get to know how the weather is going to be. So please take us through how the weather looks like in the coming days.
Thank you very much for having me again on your show. Yes, as you have already mentioned that last night we have experienced some light rain in parts of Kashmir and in KP. And also there has been light snowfall in Swat Valley and Murray also. So that westerly wave actually was prevailing for past 3 to 4 days. It has given a very good rain in especially in northern KP and in Kashmir and other parts of Gilgit-Baltistan in some parts. And it has also produced a very good snowfall in Chatral, in Sawat, in Kalam, Malam Jabba, etc. And then in Skardu side and Neelam Valley of Kashmir and Murray also. So that westerly wave is almost over. It has passed away almost from the territory of Pakistan towards Tibet and China. So now the dry continental cold air is would likely will prevail for next week or 10 days. So there is no significant westerly wave is weak westerly wave is likely to penetrate in Balochistan after 2 days. But it is not likely to affect the many parts as the previous westerly wave did. So overall, cold and dry weather will prevail with freezing temperatures and sub-zero temperatures in most parts of the country. In northern areas, especially in Gilgit-Baltistan, we have been experiencing temperature -12, -13 in Skardu and surrounding areas. Similarly, in Kalam and then in towards Balochistan, when you come, the Kalat is a very cold place where you feel the temperature, experience the temperature -7, -9, etc. And similarly, that wave is also affecting southern parts of the country. Today, Karachi has experienced its coldest night with minimum temperature of 8 degrees centigrade. So it will prevail for a week or so all over the country.
So if we talk about the mountainous areas, because the winter vacations are coming to an end and a lot of people are actually planning to go to the mountains, so what precautions they have to keep in their mind, keeping the weather conditions?
Actually, as already mentioned, that westerly wave is almost over, so there is no major weather in incoming days. So people can visit the hilly areas and the snowy mountains as the visitors pay their visit to watch the snow scenes, etc. So weather is cold, yes, but it is not going to give more rain, and it is not going to give more snow in coming days. So there is no likelihood. I mean, if the wet spell is going on, so that becomes the visit during that wet spell becomes actually risky because of the potential hazards of a threat of landsliding, and similarly in the snowy areas sometimes it can produce the avalanches when it is snowing. So those conditions are over, and now people can, visit safely. No hazard and no threat, etc. Except that
I do believe that, obviously people certainly need to take all of those precautionary measures which are required while they're traveling to these hilly areas. But while, sir, we are at it, just last year, we actually kind of experienced a very extended winters, where even in the month of April, the beginning of April 2024, we did see that how it wasn't really very warm. So do you think that this time around it's going to be extended winters as well, or do you think that, that the temperature is going to come down very quickly or go up very quickly?
Yes, well, during last winter, you might have been remembering that we have very dry. The first half of the winter was very dry. In December, we didn't have any sort of weather. In January, up to 28th January, last January, I'm talking about last January. So up to 28th January, there was no significant rain, no significant snow. But this year, luckily, one way we have already in the month of December, though that was a light wave which produced light rain and light snow, very light snow. But this spell was a bit significant, and I think the overall this winter is also a driest winter. The not so frequent weather coming from the west, in the winter season across Pakistan. So at the moment, we can say that it is for the remaining days of the January, it is going to dry, and let's see how February and March happens. What sort of
Thank you
weather
so
we
much,
can expect.
Sardar Sarfraz, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you, sir, and thank you so much for updating our fellow Pakistanis about how the weather might look like in the days as well. But certainly, Allah is the best of planners, and whenever, Allah wants to send us rain, Allah will send us rain as well. But for everybody,
and I have
meanwhile,
taken note from that as well, because, some husbands and some parents actually make excuses that it's raining, there, so we cannot actually go to the mountains.
Why would husbands make excuses here?
Because,
I think it goes
so
both ways. But while we're at it, I think this story I would want to kind of include as well, because imagine, it's very rare that I come across people who would actually resign from being the Prime Minister of the country, right? So imagine that the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announces resignation. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation from both the leadership of the Liberal Party and the position of Prime Minister. This announcement came after several months of political turmoil and speculation. In his resignation speech, he stated that he cared deeply about Canadians and loved the country. He further explained that despite their best efforts, Parliament had been paralyzed for several months, marking the longest session in Canadian history for any minority government. It is important to note that Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party has been facing uncertainty for some time, with political analysts beginning to question the Prime Minister's leadership. One of the most prominent examples of this turbulent situation was the sudden resignation of Chrystia Freeland in mid-December. Well, I think that's how a true leader really looks like. If people do not have or show confidence onto the leadership of that one particular person who happens to be the Prime Minister of the country, and for him to step down, I think very wise step.
I have a news here where Pakistan's Sohail wins gold medal in squash championship. So the year 2025 is actually turning out to be very fruitful for Pakistan in terms of sports.
Balle bhai, balle.
Exactly. So after 18 years, Pakistan won the gold medal in the under 13 category of the British Junior Open Squash Championship. Pakistan's Sohail won gold medal in the championship held in Birmingham. In the final match lasted for 38 minutes. Sohail defeated Moez Tamir of Egypt by 11-5, 5-11, 6-11, 11-7 and 11-5. So earlier, Pakistan's Nasir Iqbal won this honor in 2007. So it happened after so many years now.
Exactly, but on the other hand, I don't think that, Pakistan cricket team is doing phenomenally well, because, I mean, imagine that, that we actually lost from South Africa the last test match, and that too by 10 wickets. It's a very disrupting news, and it's because of the fact that we certainly would want our team to kind of do well. But, okay, while we are saying that, and while we do know that there's Champions Trophy ahead of us, the red ball squad of the West Indies has landed here on Monday to play a two-match test series against Pakistan. The West Indies test squad under the leadership of Captain Craig Brathwaite reached Pakistan on Friday EK 6-1-2 after a stopover in Dubai. But while we are at it, I would love to kind of speak about the performances that we have actually given and the recent outings against South Africa. We're very lucky that we've been joined by a wonderful sports analyst, a brother. He is Mr. Syed Abbas. Hello Abbas, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today? Abbas, can you hear us?
I'm not feeling good because...
All right, I think I'll speak a little louder so that you can, yeah, I think you can hear us now. So Abbas, first of all, first things first, before I move on towards West Indies, let's talk about what happened in South Africa.
It was unfortunate. If you just remember when Pakistan, the way Pakistan actually played in Australia, everyone said that Pakistan would be strong in South Africa because we won the ODI series, but that was clear point that South Africa will come strong on Pakistan because to actually qualify for the Test Championship, and South Africa team of first. If you talk about the first Test match, talking about the second Test match, especially I would talk about Shan Masood. Even I personally feel Shahzad that when you just talk specifically, he's really lost. I mean, when things are not working properly, I just see him. He's completely lost. You have got a captain of ODI cricket with you, Mohammad Rizwan. You got Babar Azam in the Test squad. Why understand?
Exactly, and Abbas, very sorry to interrupt, but in addition to this, I think because everybody's criticizing Shan Masood. Now imagine if we are to speak about the highest opening partnership in Test cricket was Shan Masood and Babar Azam. But imagine that a skipper, if he scores more than 140 runs, and even then we lose the Test match, and that too by 10 wickets. I think there's quite a lot of things that we need to speak about. Why do we even have Shan Masood as a skipper as of now? Don't you think that we have given him enough chances? Technical glitch as well, so we will try to kind of connect with Syed Abbas as well. But while we're at it, Sadaf, I think I would love to kind of shed some light about it. Now imagine, so Abbas, can you hear us? All right. So while we are at it, I think there are a few things that I would love to kind of touch upon. Now imagine that from where we started and how Aqib Javed came in, and it looked like as if it's going to be a quick fix as well. But unfortunately, in South Africa, we really didn't do well. Imagine that we were in Australia, we performed so well. There were a few changes in the playing 11, which I certainly would not recommend. Unfortunately, Naseem wasn't feeling well as well. Then Saim Ayub unfortunately got injured. So these are the things which we really need to kind of take into consideration before we actually move on to Champions Trophy. Obviously, that's going to be a one-day international Champions Trophy as well, but we're talking about Test cricket. Now, South Africa, on the other hand, has actually brought in, for the last game, they're debuting players and and they have reached the, Test Championship finals as well. And, talking about Tempa Bavuma, he happens to be such a magnificent skipper that he has actually appeared in 8 Test matches as a skipper, and he has won 7. So I think it's the record that he's actually maintained as well. And that's exactly we would want to see Pakistan doing on their soil against West Indies, because the visiting team will actually play a 3-day practice match against Pakistan Shaheens, led by Test cricketer Imam Ulaq from January 10 to 12 at the Islamabad club. Then Shaheens will begin their training at the Istanbul club on 7th January, while West Indies will undergo 2 training sessions on 8th and 9th January. Following the practice match, West Indies will play a 2-match test series against Pakistan that will run from 17th January to 29th January. This series is part of the ICC World Test Championship 2023 to 2025. The first test will be played from January 17th to January 21st in Multan, while the second match will commence on January 25th at the same venue.
Shahzad, you have a very in-depth knowledge about cricket as well. So if we talk about a West Indies squad reaching Pakistan for the test series, Abbas, if I talk you about this, the West Indies squad reaching Pakistan for the test series, we have seen the performance against South Africa. What are the points that we have to take?
What performance against South Africa? We didn't really do well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so what are the points that we have to keep in mind while performing against West Indies?
I think there's something wrong
Shahzad,
with the
you
West.
can actually
I think
shed
there's
some
something wrong with the West's internet. I think what we really need to do is that we need to get back to the basics, make sure that for all of those players who've actually garnered results for us, we need to kind of bring them back. And there's another important aspect, and that is that there's been names of Imamullah, and Shadab, that they should be actually included in the Champions Trophy squad. And I think I'm going to raise my concerns about it as well, because I don't think that Shadab recently has actually taken quite a lot of wickets, number one. Number two, Imamullah has not actually featured in any international cricket very recently. So we really need to kind of see whether his average over here on Pakistani soil is great or not. So I think these are the two things that we really need to kind of keep under consideration. And number three, Fakhar Zaman really needs to come back. But while we're at it, obviously, it's winter time, right?
Yeah.
And winters happen to be one of the finest weathers for people who are a little obese. And it's because of the fact that they can hide themselves, there's so many jackets and whatnot. But since it's Shadi season, a lot of people actually are ordering so many clothes, and so I certainly do not know how the winter fashion really needs to look like.
And we
So I'm
can
going
get some
to,
tips
so I'm going to
regarding
allow
the
you
winter
to take the
fashion.
lead over here and introduce our worthy guest. And in fact, I'm going to introduce her. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be a fashion designer, and she is Miss Manaal Arfeen. Hello, madam. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
And you look really lovely.
Oh, thank you. How are you?
So how are you feeling today?
I'm good, happy.
So if we talk about the winter fashion, like a lot of people, they struggle whenever it's, the
Yeah.
changing season, whenever it's about choosing colors regarding specifically about the winter. What colors do you specifically choose for winters, and what are the tips we have to keep in mind while styling for winter?
Okay, so in winters, this is the season where you can go for bold colors and bright colors. And other than that, we can also go for neutral colors like grays and blacks. You have seen a lot of those people wearing jeans with gray tops, as you're also wearing one. And basically what in winters you can do is that you should include red, oranges and colors that will really pop up and show you properly. So you can also style up yourself with should we talk about casual fashion or wedding fashion, because I have so much in my mind.
I think I'm going to sort it out now. First of all, because you're wearing velvet,
I
if
have
I'm
so
not wrong,
many.
is that velvet?
Yeah, that's velvet.
Okay.
And now if we are just talking about velvet, now to style velvet, we can style it in so many ways. We can also wear it in long dresses for casual wear. We can wear velvet tops, and then we can also make our wedding season, something very, we can make statement pieces by using velvets, by using handworks and by using saris and everything. Everything is in velvet these seasons.
And while we're talking about velvets, are velvets expensive? I think this is something that I would love to kind of.
Well, you can get every fabric in every price range. You can get it in lower price range and also in expensive price range. If you want your fabric to, stay and to look nice, and you want to go for French velvet, then that will be expensive. And if you want to go for Pakistani velvet, then there's a lot of option in, cheaper fabrics as well.
Exactly. And if we are to speak about velvets, so do you think that we really need to kind of consider our body type, whether we can wear velvets or not, or anyone can wear? I think I've seen everybody wear velvets.
Everyone can wear velvet. Anyone can wear anything you want. It's just the way you are wearing the dress. So basically, you can go for A-line cuts if you have a heavier body, and if you're thin, of course, you can go for snug fit as well. It's all about your body type.
Airline, what do we call it? How do we
A-line. A-line.
A-line, okay, A-line, and then
Not
slugs.
airline
Yeah.
and then snug fit. Yeah.
All right, you
Yeah.
know, so okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take full advantage of this opportunity. I'm here to learn as well myself. Well, while we are at it, obviously with velvets, you know, the women would love to don some amazing shawls as well. You know, so are there different shawls, designs
There
for
are
winters?
so many shawls
You have a
this
lot of
winter.
knowledge, Shahzad. I must
Alhamdulillah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
He has a knowledge.
Yeah. So basically, you can start from Kashmiri shawls, and then you can go, according to everyone's budget, you can go on and on with a lot of shawls. There are also machine-made shawls, also handmade shawls. So the price will vary, of course.
Yep.
And there is another trend which is a lot in fashion. In Lahore, all of us are wearing, you know, moonlight velvet shawls and moonlight shawls, which are also Kani shawls. So you can transform that.
समझ ही नहीं आया. What's
Yeah,
what's moonlight shawl?
Okay, so Kani is a kind of craft in which you weave fabric. So it's like the velvet shawls and the moonlight shawls basically have Kani borders in there.
Okay.
Right? So they look really perfect, and when you can also wear them as shawls.
It looks more royal.
Yeah, it looks royal, and you can wear it as a shawl. You can also wear it as kaftan style shirts.
Okay.
So you have, like, you know, flared sleeves with it, long shirts, and properly when you wear it, you look actually royal. You can wear a long neck piece with it, and then, you know, style yourself and then wear it.
Manaal, if I ask you about one most trendy fabric, which one is that these days? Because my sister's
Just
wedding
winter.
is approaching and it's the next month, so I have to, you know, keep in mind what is the
So
most
moonlight-
trendiest fabric.
Yeah,
Moonlight, yeah.
moonlight is making a turn now. Tissue silk is making a turn now. And you remember those royal saris, you know, everyone used to wear in 60s. That is coming back in fashion. That tissue fabric, kamha, which we used to call it. Now he's looking at me like, and I'm like,
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Sorry,
I
come on.
think this segment is for women out there as well, you know, so they will understand it.
Okay, so men actually go for fashion as well.
Yeah.
Like they can wear velvet sherwanis and they can
Yeah.
wear kurtas as well.
जिंदगी में
what
एक दफा
about-
हमें मौका मिलता है शेरवानी पहनने का, not that
They
we
wear
get
it
to
on
wear
other
it very
people's
often.
wedding
Yeah.
as well, no?
No, why
They
would
can.
I? See, this is exactly one thing which I wanted to talk about. Now imagine, you know, she actually highlighted a very important point. Now imagine for men, you know, obviously when, you know, they will become a groom, they will wear a sherwani or
course.
whatsoever. But with women, I mean, they look more prettier than, and they want to
Yeah,
look more
they
prettier than
want
the
to.
bride herself.
Yeah, because on wedding days, basically we are under a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Like mom is saying this, mother-in-law is saying this, husband is saying this, photographer is saying like, bride, look over here. Things like that are going on,
Yeah.
you know, and you are so much under pressure that after wedding you're like, ab maine acha laga. Now is my time. So that's why you look prettier afterwards.
I think
Okay,
that's
so
wonderful.
after wedding,
Yeah.
what are the things that people have to keep in mind? Like, for example, if you're a newlywed bride, because a lot of people are getting married this season.
Well, I would suggest
Yeah.
do not make a lot of heavy clothes for, you know, after your wedding. Keep on changing your clothes and your wardrobe every season. That is something that will keep you happier and alive and, you know, in touch with fashion. Rather than when I got married, it was like all about short shirts and about shalwars and everything. Now it's back in fashion, though I'm not that old. Don't judge me, okay? And but the
It's
thing
okay,
is
we
now
all are
it's,
married here, so it's okay.
yeah, but it's like it's just few years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
So now it's all about long shirts and, you know, so things change very frequently
How
in
can
fashion.
we reuse our stuff? You know, like
Yeah.
you're talking about it
Yeah.
was in trend, it's not in trend
Yeah.
anymore. So there are things that actually get
Yeah.
out of trend, and we have to, you know, reuse our
Reuse
stuff.
it,
How
yeah.
can we
Yeah,
reuse?
she
our
can't
stuff?
even give her old clothes to anyone because they won't fit
She
anymore.
can't. Yeah.
You're so petite, yeah. That's
And that's
exactly
cool.
the word that you
That's
used.
good.
Yeah, please go ahead.
That's good. So if you, for example, you have your wedding lehenga, you can wear a long shirt. You can just get a long shirt stitched according to the fashion that is going on. Like if angrakhas are in fashion, so you can get an angrakha. A plain one can also do. So it's not much of a deal. And if you have a short shirt going on, like abhi aap, if you see nowadays, so you know, for casuals, short shirts are in, but I won't suggest that for weddings. Don't go for that in weddings.
Exactly. And in addition to this, you know, where we spoke about colors, now
Yeah.
imagine that a lot of people have actually moved towards the idea that, you know, that we should do a day wedding, right? You know,
Yeah.
and it's outdoors as well. So do you
Yeah.
think that the color combinations need to change when
They
it's a
need
day
to.
wedding
They need
and
to
when it's a
change.
night wedding and it's an indoor thing, you know,
Yeah.
so how does that work?
That works. Like for example, like if you see the weather nowadays in winters, you can go for brighter colors, but when it's summers, you cannot go for reds. You always have to switch to lighter pinks, pastel colors, peachy colors, and tones that will suit you, like lilacs and lighter pistachio colors and things like that.
Is this for the bride as well?
It
And
is for the bride
bridesmaid
as well. If we are talking about like Lahori day weddings or Islamabadi day weddings in summer, sorry, Lahori ho raha hai, but it's like that. And if we are talking about winters and day weddings in winters, then you can go for as much bright colors as you want, like magenta, red, orange. You can go for all of those colors.
Yeah.
If it's the air conditioned on wedding, I mean like if it's indoor and you have
In
the proper air
indoor
conditioning.
at night.
Ah.
Yeah, indoor at night you can wear. I am a fan of colors, so I would suggest that wear colors as much as you can. You know, because when we wear jeans and when we are casual, we are already too much neutral in life.
Yeah.
So why not be,
Neutral
bold
in
Exactly.
at
exactly.
wedding?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And in addition to this, I think there was this one bit which actually kind of did confuse me, and that was that imagine that, when I got married, back in those days, I think it was
Back in those days, thank
yeah,
God,
it was
there is
2000
someone
it
like
was
me back in those
2013. Imagine, and I was probably 21 or 22 years old when I got married.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like saving myself.
It's perfectly all right. Now imagine that there was a trend how people would wear green kurtas on mehndis, with
I
beige
remember.
pajamas and whatnot. But now the trends have changed. Now there's shisha kurtas coming out. There's
Shisha
more of
kurtas,
sequence clothing coming
Yeah.
out. If I'm right,
Yeah.
I'm right. I'm using the right terminology. Wow.
Yeah.
So, but it's very confusing now. Okay, what to wear on mehndi? Even for boys and even for girls. So, how do you think that the trend has shifted onto whatever you want to wear? You can wear now on the mehndi.
You can be very experimental these days, and what grooms do usually, they ask us that please keep some fabric from our bride and then make us a sherwani out of it, or make us a waistcoat out of it, or we'll wear the shirt as our bride is wearing. So that is something very nice going on, and acceptance in fashion is going on, because earlier men were like, we are men, we cannot wear what women are wearing, not even the same color. Like I remember my husband would not even agree to wear the patka in the same color like I was wearing. If I'm wearing a red dress, he wouldn't accept the red patka even.
So I think you got married before me then.
No, it was the same time.
Because I wore the same. Because I wore the same tie,
So we
the
have
same
changed
patka,
our
everything.
topic to from fashion to wedding.
You're a matching guy. I mean, like you're good with
Yeah.
matching colors,
Thank you
and,
so
and
much.
you are actually very
Yeah.
flexible in this regard.
Yeah.
So
Thank
if
you
we
so much.
talk about like reusing stuff, men can
Yeah.
use their, because I asked this earlier as well. Men can reuse their sherwanis as well on some occasion.
They can.
Is that possible?
Yeah, they can. Why not? On their brother's wedding or something like that, on their best friend's wedding, they can reuse it. Please do not use it on your second marriage. Please don't. But they can, of course, reuse it. But men usually, if you have seen like men's closet, it's usually the same. I don't know why men are not changing, and they're not too much into fashion. They do not like to change the colors they like.
You know why?
I don't know why.
I think there's a reason. Now imagine that for a working man, he's
Yeah.
too busy in doing stuff. So he would certainly want this responsibility to be taken by his wife.
Yeah.
So whatever new needs to come in will come in. If his
Yeah.
wife is going to actually go and spend some money on him. Only then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't see men spending a lot of money on clothing. There are obviously, for example, people like me. We are on TV.
Yeah.
We have to. So there's
Yeah,
no
and
other
you're
way that
looking
there'll
good,
be people who will
mashallah.
sponsor us, and it's great. But while I think Sadaf was asking this question, what she was trying to do was how can we reuse the sherwani? And I had a brilliant idea. I think you can convert your sherwani into a prince coat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then wear it wherever you want to wear
Yeah.
it, right?
But
That
would
is
you?
a good idea.
Yeah.
Very nice.
और जो कपड़ा बच जाएगा उससे you can silvao your shorts,
Yeah, you
No,
can
that's
actually be a very
okay.
good
Don't
fashion
Silvao your
designer.
छोटे बच्चे की शेरवानी. How's that?
Sorry, what again?
Silvao your छोटे बच्चे की शेरवानी.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
But
That is a good idea as well.
these days we do not have a and I think that's a very interesting question for Sadaf now. Sadaf, what do we call a sarwala in English?
Oh.
I don't even know what's that.
सरवाला is this वो जो एक छोटा बच्चा नहीं
bridesmaid type की
दूल्हे के
वो-
साथ
नहीं, दूल्हे
होता
के
है, एक
साथ
चाचू का एक
I
किसी
think
का
that's the,
The boy.
roommate maybe. Oh, no, the
I don't know. Okay, so we are confused about it, and obviously,
Yeah.
this terminology actually comes from our version of the culture as
Yeah.
well, and it's great. So we have spoken about mehndis, we've spoken about barat, and how you've spoken about colors. Let's move on to walimas now.
Yeah.
So walimas have been now more about shalwar kameez and waistcoats and coats for men. And for women, I certainly do have no idea about how women would want to dress up on
They
walima.
actually wear saris these days,
Okay.
and she can guide us better about this. Saris are in,
saris are
for
in
neutral
long
colours as well.
maxis, and they want to actually walima is the only day where they want it to be kind of inspired from white weddings. They want the long veil to come and to travel all the way on the ramp after them. So it's all about maxis, long dresses, full of handwork and crystals and everything, and sparkling dresses.
Wow, it's great. And now let's come down to post-marriage. Now imagine, when you just got married, there are a lot of dinners, party wears and whatnot. I mean, how many events? I mean, you guys have a list of events, right? For us, yaar, aaj shadi hai bas, so it does not matter whether it's mehndi, it's barat, it's walima, it's shadi, aaj khana hai, that's it. But for you, there's party wear, there's walima, there's night, and there's
Bridal
qawwali
shower
night,
as
and
well.
there's bridal
yeah.
shower, and then
bridal shower.
there's so many things. So please take us through, one of those tips which you would want to give to our audiences in 46 different countries that you can never go wrong with. So let's do that.
Okay, so you know what, do not make a lot of clothes for after wedding, first of all, because you will keep on making a lot of clothes, and then reuse your clothes for every occasion. And starting off from a bridal shower, I was like baby shower, no, it's bridal shower, sorry.
Abhi wahan nahi pahuche.
So हाँ मैं पीछे आगे चली गई. So starting off from bridal shower, so you can wear long dresses and things, easy to carry, which you can also reuse. Try to make things which you can reuse.
Okay. But thank you so much, Ms. Manaal, for being with us. Lovely to be in
Thank you so
conversation
much.
with you. I certainly had a lot of questions, but unfortunately we're short on time. We'll have you over again, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Probably
Thank you.
mid-winters or probably
Inshallah.
at the start of the summers as well. But thank you so much for
Thank you
being
so
with us.
much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
quick tips and quick fixes for people who are out there who want to dress up magnificently well. And why not? I mean, when you dress up well, you actually feel great. Imagine that you walk
Exactly.
into a room with the way that you've actually been dressed up, and if people start to compliment, yeah, you look good.
I have a quote here
I think
to
this will
add.
make your day. Yeah, please go ahead.
Exactly, that is, look good. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. So look good.
All right, and when you do good, you're able to afford good clothes as well. So please make sure
It's
that you always do good as well. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, now I think I'm going to take you to this ice festival, which is taking place somewhere in China. And these visuals look really amazing, and I wanted to share these with my viewers. So decked in thick winter jackets, dozens of people stood in sub-zero temperature next to a pool at Harbin in China's northernmost province of Heilongjiang, waiting to watch members of a local swim team to take their plunge into the icy water. Moments later, 70-year-old swimming enthusiast Feng Shangbin walked out of his shed in his trunks and swim cap to the enthusiastic applause of the spectators. After positioning himself at the top of a small flight of steps, he dived into the freezing water and started swimming. Over 200 members of the Harbin winter swim team actively participate in various swimming activities across winter in the city. It is pertinent that winter temperatures in Harbin can dip to as low as -35 degrees Celsius. Oh my God. Well, that must be
That
cold.
is very exciting.
For the gentleman who actually came out in trunks and a swimming cap and, kind of
we
dived
remember
into the
that.
freezing water.
Yeah.
But while we're at it, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that, me and Sadaf, we're always fascinated with what's happening in the space and the debris that is coming out. And I think there's a growing concern about the debris. For whatever we have been sending out in space, one day will actually come back to this world as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, researchers, well, not just that. I think we really need to kind of speak about it because a large red-hot object fell from the sky into the Kenyan village of Mukuku, prompting an investigation by the Kenya Space Agency. The object, which measured 2.5 meters wide and weighed 500 kg, was identified as space debris, most probably a separation ring from a rocket. The space agency said normally space debris either burnt up upon entering the Earth's atmosphere or fell into the ocean. This incident was rather unusual for the region. We do have a very fantastic report, to make our viewers aware about it, and that too by Mr. Sajeel Dogar. Sajeel, you have been doing a wonderful job. Please, let's go. Let's take a good
Let's
look.
watch the report and then come back.
Yep. Good morning.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
A huge number of spacecrafts have been launched over the years. From the groundbreaking Apollo missions to the latest innovations in aerospace technology, humanity's journey into the cosmos has been extraordinary. But every achievement of mankind in space exploration has come with an unintended consequence: a growing trail of abandoned machinery, defunct satellites, and shattered fragments of technology orbiting the Earth. Much of it is irreparable, drifting aimlessly in orbit and breaking into countless pieces over time due to collisions with other debris or asteroids. This has become a massive problem. So what exactly is space debris? It's everything humanity has left behind in space, satellites that no longer transmit or are simply no longer used due to advancements in technology, spent rocket stages that have completed their mission but never returned, tiny fragments created by high-speed collisions. These fragments, at speeds exceeding 10 kilometers per second, possess over 10 times more kinetic energy than a bullet shot from an anti-material rifle and travel faster than the detonation velocity of high explosives. On one of its missions, the space shuttle returned to Earth with visible damage to one of its windows. The damage was found to be the result of impact of a chip of paint. The problem isn't just a few scattered pieces of junk. Earth's orbit is becoming a graveyard of technology. Over 25,000 objects larger than 10 centimeters are routinely tracked. Millions of smaller pieces are too tiny to detect, but are still destructive. On average, the International Space Station has to execute at least one maneuver each year to avoid collisions with debris. This accumulation poses risk not just to satellites and space stations, but to the future of space exploration itself. We are at a risk of creating what the scientists call the Kessler syndrome. A single collision could trigger a chain reaction, producing thousands of fragments and rendering Earth's orbit a no-go zone. So here's the real question: how do we clean up a mess in space?
Thank you
Such
so much,
an
Sajeel Dogar, for this
informative,
million-dollar
yeah.
question. I think, this is a concern which people really need to kind of raise. For all of those things which are orbiting around us, and are man-made, will one day eventually come back into the world's atmosphere. And we really need to ask this question, whether it's going to be safer for people or not. But while we're at it, imagine that world is full of arts, right? We love arts,
Yeah.
Imagine these pictures behind me. This is digital art, these tables, the furniture, the clothes that we wear. I think everything kind of has a very unique aesthetic language. And for anyone, because this is what we say most of the time, this is how we compliment people. Yeah, his aesthetics or her aesthetics are really nice. So imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that we've actually been joined with somebody who can actually try to shape up your aesthetic sense. She happens to be ex-PTV #1. She's been working with Shoaib Mansoor. Not just that, she's been working with a New York artist, Mr. Fazino, as well. She's over here inside our studios today. And we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a visual artist and designer, Miss Faiza Shah. Hello, madam. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Good morning, and I'm feeling great. Back to my old office.
Wow, that's just wonderful, and it's great to have you over on the show as well. Alhamdulillah, we have progressed. We have come down from a virtual set to a very physical, huge set. Alhamdulillah. So I think it's
Wonderful.
great. Both of us are progressing. All of us are progressing. Shukr,
Exactly,
alhamdulillah.
yeah.
But ma'am, while we're at it, let's talk about the very aesthetic sense that you possess. It's not just that you're only popular in Pakistan, you're popular world over. You have your own visual art dungeon, which is known as Shah Khana as well, if I am not wrong. So please take us through your art, and we would love to kind of ask questions about it. Please go ahead.
You have spoken so much about me that I feel so embarrassed now.
No, you don't have to. Alhamdulillah, you truly deserve it.
I try to be. I try to use my aesthetics in all walks of life. It may be cooking as well,
Yep.
My art career began when I was 2.5 years old.
Wow.
So I was lucky that my parents encouraged me. They found that I was into art, so they never pushed me to do anything except to be in the world of arts. So I was, to sum up, I was very lucky to get opportunities, and I did a lot of hard work. It's not in a second that you become an artist, which I unfortunately have to mention that currently what I see is that people, they just want to jump. They don't take small steps,
Yep.
which is very important in becoming an artist. But it's just they want to, you know, jump as high as possible without knowing the basics of it. And that I never recommend, because currently I'm teaching at Pakistan National Council of the Arts for 2 days, and students come to me of all age groups, for all different backgrounds. And
but madam, how did you learn yourself? See, you know, I think you have hit the nail on the head where you said that, you know, everybody needs to know the basics. So when you got into this, I mean, I'm sure that, you know, it must be really difficult for you to look for a good teacher. So how did you learn the basics, and then you became a pro, and then eventually, alhamdulillah, you started teaching, you had collaborations with, you know, artists in New York City, you know, your art is going all over the world. So how did you figure it out that this is how you need to bridge as an artist?
I'll make it very simple. Firstly, as I said, my parents encouraged me. My very first art teacher was from Sri Lanka.
Wow.
So she was the one who told me the difference between colors, how to hold a brush, and so on. So when I got admission in college, I took fine arts as a subject.
Wow.
So then.
And which college did you go to, ma'am?
I went to, it used to be called CB College, but now it's federal government, FG College.
Wonderful.
Kashmir Road, Rawalpindi.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, I did my master's in fine arts from Government College, 6th Road.
Wow.
We were the 4th batch affiliated with Punjab University.
MashaAllah.
So, but as I said, I had so much interest in arts that besides attending college classes, I used to go to Rawalpindi Arts Council to take extra classes for
So you were
arts.
very passionate about it.
I was very passionate, and I was very much into arts, and that's how I, you know, and I, as you mentioned, I lived in New York for 21 years, and I was very lucky to be affiliated with world-renowned pop artist Charles Fazino. I'm still associated with him.
That's
so,
really amazing.
Yeah, I had the opportunity of traveling to Middle East, working there as well, England, you know, so it had been a
wonderful
you have
ride.
been traveling as well.
Yes, traveling
You
as well.
actually mentioned that you were actually spotted on when you were 2.5-year-old.
Yep.
For the mothers out there, because, you know, like children, they have this power and they can actually, you know, create things. They are true artists in our children. How can a mother identify that, okay, my child is into arts, and if I put some effort, that child is going to get groomed into somebody, a very big artist in future?
The simplest thing is that you provide your kid, who is that small, with pencils or colors, which is most of the parents do. And if a child doesn't show any interest in art, naturally that child will, you know, throw away. He will not take care of the stuff, neither he will make anything. But he might be interested in Lego, he might be interested in other things, you know.
Yep.
So it is very easy to find out.
And that's exactly what I actually want to figure out over here, Sadaf, as well. And that is, now imagine that if we are to kind of look at this masterpiece of yours, see these patterns that we see on this particular painting.
Canvas?
I mean, obviously the canvas as well. I mean, it's really different. The colors that has been used, you know, so they are really kind of, when you touch them, you know, you can actually feel the texture of them as well.
Are
So
these oil paints?
These are oils, and
Oils,
if the
okay.
our cameraman can zoom in,
Are we trying?
the texture that I have created is,
This, right?
yeah, it's
Can we touch it?
creating. Of course,
Yeah,
it's all dried
My
up.
hands are clean as well. Yeah.
It gives an interest. This is actually one of the paintings of the series that I had been painting. It's called Dil-e Muzdarib, or The Restless Heart. It shows my 21 years stay in New York,
Yep.
and my heart, which still stayed back where I
It's
grew up.
Pakistani.
So
Yeah.
it's basically Manhattan Bridge in the background, and of course our favorite rickshaw ride.
And that's
Oh.
exactly what, you know, I would want to kind of ask about. Now, even if I move on towards the other picture as well, obviously we do
Yeah.
see the skyline. You know,
It's
probably.
Manhattan
Yes,
skyline.
yes.
So-
and then there's Pakistani truck art as well. But, you know, whenever an artist would kind of represent their pictures of the art, you know, for example, you just mentioned Dil-e Muzdarib, right?
Yep.
For anyone who actually happens to be a spectator, how do you think that we really need to kind of feel the essence, what the artist is kind of, or the kind of soul that the artist is put in the picture?
Well, an artist cannot push the viewer, so
Yeah.
that's up to the intelligence of the viewer
Yeah.
to figure out how much effort and what the artist is trying to convey.
And then
Okay,
there are
I
few other
actually
pictures
want
as
to
well.
get into
Yeah,
the
please go ahead.
details of this painting
Sorry,
as well.
I'm gonna
If we
bring
talk
this as
about
well
it,
over here.
Shahzad.
Yeah.
This is oil paint, as you mentioned.
Correct.
Do you have used brushes and knives, and what other things that you use to make this?
They're all different techniques.
Okay.
This is specifically knife and brush.
Okay.
But it is not like I don't, I don't stick to one thing.
Okay.
I keep on switching the mediums.
Okay.
And the colors, like sometimes I use oil, sometimes I use acrylics, watercolors, pastels, dry pastels, oil pastels, watercolors.
Okay.
So it is. It depends on the mood of the artist, actually.
Exactly.
Alright.
So asking about your mood, we have another picture over here. I would want you to take a good look. What mood were you in when you were painting this picture?
This
Yeah.
is one of my favorites. It was painted in New York. It was one of the very beautiful park
If
that
we
I
can
used to
zoom
go
into
there.
this one.
I'm going to put it here. Yes. Thank you.
It was a park where I used to go for a walk, and it was the fall season in New York that time. So I went there one time, and then I said, I have to capture this. So it had all the beautiful warm colors of fall in New York.
Wow.
And
I think
the
it's
other one at your back.
on the right hand
Oh,
side.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
There's somewhere where you were
this
missing.
is the famous Lahore fort.
Yep.
And I painted it on the spot. It's not a copy work. I'm a plein air artist, meaning that I sit on the spot
And
and
you-
I paint. I don't do copy. That's what I'm.
So you were in front of the Lahore fort while you did that.
Absolutely. I was sitting there. This is watercolor, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just want to take this opportunity to convey one message to the art lovers or the students who are. I'm trying. This is my mission now. That I have seen a lot of copy work, and even the students, they, instead of using their own brains and their own eyes and their own abilities to paint something, to create some art, they are copying either from phone or from book or somebody else's.
Wow.
So this is my mission, to bring out the true artist inside.
How they actually feel. And it's such a great thought as well. But thank you so much, Miss Faiza, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you and
Very
for us
lovely.
to kind of represent and exhibit, your masterpieces. Dil-e Muzdarib is over here as well, and however you've been feeling about it. And I think, I think she's on a mission. I'm going to support her with this mission. Creativity from within can actually lead towards some such sources, ladies and gentlemen, which we might not have ever come across as mankind or as humans. So I think
yes.
everybody should be allowed to paint their canvas as they feel like, and I think that's the message which
This
I'm
is a
going to leave
very
you with as
beautiful
well.
message.
Thank you so much, Sadaf. Thank you
You're
so much, Ms.
welcome.
Faiza, for being with
Thank
us. And
you.
for everybody who's out there, look after yourselves. Have a great day, great morning.
Bye
Be
bye.
good, okay? Allah Hafiz.